coaching for about 2 years now. So I want to grow it into a bigger business and make a bigger impact as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being with us this evening and for sharing. And I'll have a word of prayer, then feel free to go right into it. Let's bow our heads for prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity we have to gather together to learn important life skills. And tonight, as we will learn on goals and goal setting for success, I pray that you would be with Natalie Claire. Bless her as she speaks, teaches, and leads out. Be with those who are also here on the call. And as we contemplate our life goals and where we stand today towards the beginning of this year, give us wisdom to guide our lives. And I pray that the insights tonight would be helpful and useful. We thank you and we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you for having me this evening. I will start sharing my screen with you. There we go. Can you see it? Okay.
Yes, I see that, yeah.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. I am Natalie Luwisha. I am a life coach for women. And a little bit of background to me. So I come from an engineering background and I'm an engineer turned entrepreneur. And this didn't happen in an instant or overnight. It happened over a long period of time, from a time where my life was not in a great place just due to circumstances. And along the way, the only thing that kept me going was my faith and drawing closer to God and finding personal development. I really found a way to be able to focus on my mindset rather than my actual circumstances that were around me. And this is one of my favorite quotes here: success is a habit. And also another one is success leaves clues. And that's what I do in terms of helping others and also how I got to where I am here by finding the clues, creating good habits, and goal setting. So this is this evening's presentation, goal setting. I am currently in Sheffield. That's where I live with my family, and I am originally from Manchester, but moved to the Peaks, and I'd like to definitely settle here, have a family, and enjoy being in the great outdoors. So a little bit of the agenda for this evening. So why should we even set goals? Why is it important to set goals? How can we achieve our goals in 10 steps? I've made it into 10 easy steps that it's structured. That's how I like to work with my clients when I'm coaching. I like to have a structured approach. In terms of my engineering background, I have a very structured approach to doing things, and I have an analytical mindset. So I find that that helps people and helps them get from where they are to where they want to be. Number 3 will be looking at prioritizing what we can prioritize in our lives and time management. And then if you can keep your questions till the end, then I'll be answering all the questions at the end of the presentation. So goal setting. I really love this verse. This is one of my favorite verses. It says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them." So when we have goals, I think it's important to really think about setting bigger goals and really have faith in them, because God has already created us to do good works. And if we have the right intentions, he will help us to achieve those goals that we're setting. Why set goals? So for me, setting goals is having faith. You are wanting to achieve something that you cannot see, wanting to achieve something that is in the future. And so we are having faith by setting those goals. Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." So even though we set our goals and we create our plans, God will still guide us and help us on the way. Three reasons why I think it's important for us, especially as Christians, from a Christian perspective, is number one, to glorify God. Number two, to have gratitude, to really give thanks for the life that He has given us, and to share God's love in terms of everything we do and everything we share in this world is to do it in love. And one thing that I like to emphasize in my own life is who we become in the pursuit of our goals is what matters to God, because we're building our character, we're building discipline, we're building a lot of good qualities in ourselves. And three things that I also focus on when I'm coaching is really helping women have clarity, confidence, and courage. And those three things help us to move forward and to get to where we want to be. So I will just read these two verses, Matthew 5:16. It says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." So that's about glorifying God. And 1 Corinthians 10, verse 31. "Whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all things to the glory of God." So even in our pursuit of achieving our goals, these three things, to glorify God, to have gratitude, and to share God's love, are three important reasons to be in pursuit of them and to intentionally go after what we want to go after in our lives. Now we get to the how to actually achieve your goals. Here are my 10 steps that I want to share with you. And before even actually getting on that path of working on your goals, I really ask you and all of us to pray and seek God's wisdom in terms of, you've set these big goals in your life, but have you spoken to God? Have you shared with Him in terms of what He wants you to do in your life as well? It's important for me as a Christian to really think about that and to have God's wisdom in what I'm trying to do in my life. And then I get started. And these are my 10 steps. So step one is to look at what is in your way. So sometimes it's difficult for us to actually achieve our goals because there's something in our way, something that's stopping us from actually getting started, something that's distracting us, things that are making us procrastinate and gives us more excuses about why we can't move forward. So look at what is in your way. What do you need clarity on? What do you need to make a decision on? Sometimes we feel stuck because we're not actually making a decision. We give ourselves too much choice. And of course, in life, they say the world's your oyster, but having too much choice sometimes halts us from moving forward and we're stuck in where we are. And what new skills, training, or resources do you need to move forward? Sometimes you just don't have the knowledge to actually move forward. You need some clarity, you need to make a decision, and you need more information and better skills to actually help you. Number two is knowing your values. Who and what is important to you? Really knowing what you value in your life is important in pursuing your goals, because sometimes when you have a goal that is not aligned with your values, what tends to happen is you lose motivation, you get discouraged, and in the ups and downs, especially the downs, you don't have anything that will keep you going. So really having your values front and center will help you to stay focused, to stay motivated, and to keep going as you pursue your goals. Number three is decide what you want in your life. Actually, just taking the time to sit down and look at these areas in your life and say, what do I want? So in my family, in my financial situation, whether it's career, health and fitness, love, friends, business, personal development, all these different areas, you need to specifically write down what you want in your life. And I'm sure you've heard of SMART goals in terms of being very specific with what you want. So rather than just saying, I want to start a fashion business, for example, you have to be more specific. What kind of fashion business? So a friend of mine is starting a fashion business, and that's to sell handbags. And that's a project would love to be part of. And so that's quite specific. So you know you want to be in the fashion industry. You know you want to start a fashion business, and you're getting specific. You want to sell handbags. And is it for men? Is it for women? Well, we all know handbags are for women. And what kind of style or theme are you going for? Specifically, the modern woman or more traditional woman, really getting specific with the exact goal that you want to achieve, rather than having one statement that is very vague, getting specific with the details of what you actually want. That will help you have a good big picture view of how to get there. The more detailed it is, the clearer and easier it will be for yourself to actually get moving and get started on achieving that goal. Number 4 is identify what you need. So now you have that goal. So we'll go with the fashion business idea, and we'll use that example throughout this presentation. What resources do you need in terms of books, videos? What can you Google? Do you need to go on a course? Are you going to create these handbags yourself? Are you going to actually source them out? Are you going to buy them from someone and then sell them? What else do you need to know about being in the fashion industry? Really research what you need to research, really collect the resources that you need to have, and ask people, find out who can help you. I'm sure you have role models, or you have peers or friends or other experts who are there who can help you actually get to where you want to. So if you know someone who's already doing something that you want to do, the best thing I would say is to ask them. Start by asking them about their journey and what are the highs, the lows, the pitfalls, the mistakes they made on their way to actually achieving their goal, and what can you learn from them. So putting all these resources together and this information and speaking to people, and then build a network for yourself. Really have a supportive network around you, have accountability partners, and have the right people around you. Really ensure that the people you have around you are going to encourage you, are going to support you, are going to be your cheerleaders, and sometimes even be the critical eye for you in terms of asking you important questions, asking you tough questions, and asking you, have you thought of this? Are you sure about this? Not in a negative way, but in a way that will help you actually progress and move forward. So really be mindful about who you have around you in your life. I have a good group of friends around me who are my accountability partners, who are there for me, who are also trying to achieve their own goals. So we are working together in trying to help each other actually achieve our goals. And that's really important to build your support network. Number 5 is to plan the process. Really break down your goal into milestones. In the same way I've created this presentation by having 10 steps to achieve your goals, you can have 10 steps to achieve your goal and really break it down and have different milestones of where you want to get to. Sometimes what stops us from achieving our goals is that feeling of overwhelm. And you get that feeling of overwhelm for a few different reasons. One of which is you're looking at the big goal and you're thinking, how will I actually get there? I want to be the #1 best-selling handbag in the fashion industry. And you're still at square one. You've only just researched, you've only just spoken to 1 or 2 people, and you're thinking of the big picture, the big goal, and the big dream, and you can feel overwhelmed. So that's why it's important to really break that down into smaller steps and look at the smaller milestones and go step by step. So, for example, in terms of having your fashion business and selling your handbags, you could look at finances. What financially, what capital do I need? So that could be one milestone. You set a goal for that. The next one could be actually sourcing the handbags. And then you create a few steps along for that. The next one can be marketing. How are you actually going to let people know that you're selling handbags? And then step by step, as you go through these steps, you're getting there. You're working closer and closer towards achieving your goal of actually having a fashion business that sells handbags. And as you break things down, I like to work in terms of looking at what you can do daily on your goal, what you can do weekly and monthly to get you closer to your goal. And a mentor of mine has taught me this is to have the rule of 3. So for example, if you're going to go for the weekly milestones, what 3 things can you do in a week to work on your goal? Just keep it simple. 3 things a week, 3 things a month, 3 things a day, depending on what your schedule is like. If you have a lot of time, you might have time to do 3 things every day to work on your goal. If you are stretched for time, you might only be able to do 3 things every week or every month. And so just simply breaking it down into 3 things that you can be working on to get you close to that goal, it's helping you just minimize that overwhelm, minimize that feeling of there's just too much to do, narrowing it down to just 3 things. Number 6 is to schedule those tasks. So you've set yourself some tasks to do, those 3 things in a week, let's say. Now actually schedule them into your diary. Whether you have a paper diary or a digital diary, it's up to you to find the time when you're going to work on your goal. Actually look at your schedule and say, on Thursday morning at 10 a.m., for 2 hours, I'm going to work on this goal. Schedule it in and make it an important appointment with yourself. Have those appointments with yourself where you are working on your goal. Actually be really intentional, actually carve out that time and schedule it. And there's a famous quote that I love that a successful entrepreneur said, if you want to show me how, if let me see if I can remember it correctly. I'll just paraphrase anyway. It talks about if I want to see how successful you will be, it's by looking at your schedule and what you've actually scheduled in your calendar to do. And if you're saying I'm not getting close to my goals and I look at your schedule, where in your schedule from Monday to Friday, where have you put time to actually work on your goal? And that's why it's important to actually schedule time for working on your goals. Number 7 is to prepare yourself and your environment. This goes hand in hand with actually scheduling it in your diary. If you can prepare time, that's putting the time of when you're going to do it. Energy, sometimes we tend to put things last on our list. And if something's important to you, put it at a time when you know you have the energy, both mentally and physically, to actually work on something that is important to you, work on this specific goal. And the space and your environment. Look at your home. Is there a place that you can sit down and be focused and actually specifically use that space to be working on your goals? Like we're all working from home. A lot of us are working from home during this time. So have you created that space for yourself? And sometimes it might be a good idea to actually have a different space for your work in terms of like career and what you actually do for your living and your goals. And sometimes they're one in the same. So if, for example, you're working on a business like I do, um, my goal is my business. So and is my work. So where I work on it is here where I'm sitting today, actually, which is on my kitchen table. And this is my working space. It's for my business, it's for my goals. And for the more personal goals in my life, I will probably sit on the couch, be comfortable, have my journal, and work through these steps just as I am sharing with you, and actually take the time to be very specific about what I want to do, about what the next milestone will be, about what the 3 tasks will be for me to really focus on and work on. And just creating that space for yourself, really preparing yourself and your environment around you. Because you know what they say about having a clear space helps you to have a clear mind. So that helps you have that clarity of mind, of thought, to be able to have good ideas as you're working on your goals and to be able to focus. That's one thing that really helps you keep you going, staying focused. Just have a sip of water. Number 8 is to track your progress. So whether you're working daily, weekly, or monthly, track your progress in terms of those 3 tasks you gave yourself. Were you able to achieve all 3 of them? Were you able to actually only achieve 1 out of 3? And really look at what else needs to be done in terms of getting them ticked off your list. Is if we go back to step number 1 in terms of what's stopping you, if you're finding that you're only actually achieving 1 task on your list, what's stopping you from achieving the other tasks? Is there something else that you need to help you actually achieve those and actually complete the tasks? And this goes hand in hand with number 9, which is review what's working, what's not working, and find out what you can change or do differently. So having a review is really important. I try to have a review myself every week or every fortnight in terms of what's working, what's not working, and keep doing the things that are working, absolutely, and looking at what's not working, finding out what the problem is. Once you know the problem, we can seek a solution. That way you can tweak and you can change things. If you're finding that you're still at the same place you were like a week ago or a month ago, have some time to think about what's going wrong at this point, what's not working for you, and what can you do to make things better? What can you do to move forward and get to the next step? And finally, number 10 is to give thanks and to celebrate. Really celebrate your milestones. Sometimes we get so focused on the end goal that we don't take the time to stop and reflect on what's actually working, what's actually going well, where we are at this point. Even though it's hard, sometimes we have challenges along the way. Celebrate the wins. Having those celebrations actually helps your mindset. It helps you to stay motivated, to keep focused, and to keep going. And so celebrating those wins is part of the process. And trying to achieve a goal, it's a journey and it's a process. It's working on your self-discipline, working on your routines and your habits, working on your character. Who you're becoming along the way is just as important as achieving the goal. Sometimes you find that you don't achieve exactly what you wanted, but who you've become in the process as you've learned, as you've grown, as you've evolved and progressed along the way is something to celebrate. It's worth celebrating, and you find that most times you find that you are able to actually set bigger goals. You're like, okay, actually, I can actually do this. I am making progress in my life. I'm doing well. And I think I can dream bigger. And those were the 10 steps. So, a few tips to really help you stay motivated and focused. And one way is to actually visually see your goals daily. And one way you can do that is by having a vision board. I'm sure you've all heard of it, especially around January time. It's like goal setting, creating your vision board. And it's really a fun way to be able to keep your goals to mind. Now, this is one I've had in the past, and a few things on here have actually come to pass, which is absolutely amazing. And create a vision board. And the one I have here is a picture of a real one I had. So this was very old school where I had magazines and I cut out the pictures and I stuck them on. And now you can actually use things like Canva and PicMonkey and Pinterest, and you can have a digital vision board. That way, it's kind of easier to change things around and add new things and take things off. And visually seeing your goals daily, weekly, monthly, it actually keeps you motivated and it it stays in your mind as you go about your day. Like you just be doing other things, not really thinking about your goals, but you glance, maybe if it's on your phone, you glance at your phone and you're like, oh yes, that's what I'm working towards. Really having these reminders around you, it helps you stay motivated and keep going. And it also makes you really envision what you want to have. And that process of visualizing what you want in your life, where you want to be, it helps your mind to focus. And there's many studies that have been conducted about the reticular activating system, and that's a place in your brain that actually helps you get to where you want to be because it's already seen it in your mind's eye. And so having visual representation of what you want actually helps you stay focused and helps you to achieve your goals. Another important point is prioritizing. What do you prioritize in your life? Being able to prioritize is being able to put things that are important to you first. And for me, it's prioritizing God in my life and prioritizing myself as well, my health. And I would share with you that focusing on your health is something that is very important. Being physically, mentally strong is important while you're in the pursuit of your goals. There are many challenges that come our way. There are many unexpected things that happen. As you all know, these past 2 years have been unexpected, and that word unprecedented. Many things come along and can kind of push you and test you, along the way. And having a strong body, having a strong mind, it helps you to be positive about things, even if something has happened and maybe you need to take a short pause. It helps you to stay positive. It helps you to still keep going, and it helps you to be productive. I find when have my exercise routine going really well, I find that I'm generally really productive. I have energy. I feel positive. I feel strong, and that's what helps you to keep going. And having the right people around you, I've emphasized this before, who and what is important to you, and especially having the right people in your supportive network, in your circle, and those you know that you can trust and lean on. Really finding those people who are also as ambitious as you are. They're also going after their goals and wanting to achieve bigger and better things. This is, we're not meant to live life doing things on our own. It's important for us to have people around us to be there to work together towards something bigger and better in our lives, and really prioritize that, really prioritize the relationships in your life. Those are the things that help you keep going. So being able to prioritize. And finally, time management. How do you manage your time? For me, a rule is schedule everything. And you might think that's too much, but let me put it to you this way. Scheduling things like scheduling your free time, scheduling time to work on your goals, scheduling time for your work, scheduling time for family, it actually makes you more intentional on working on what you want to work on being with who you want to be with, and having time for yourself too. When you schedule things in your life, it helps you stay organized. It helps you be productive. It helps you actually get things done. I love this quote that says, "What gets scheduled gets done." And whether you have a diary, a paper diary, or a calendar or an app, there are many resources and tools out there to schedule and to help you stay organized. And in terms of scheduling everything, if you find that things happen and things change, one thing that a schedule is good for is, say that you had the 2 hours that you had on Thursday morning to work on your goals, but something comes up, and say on Friday you had 2 hours that was free time. So because something has come up on the Thursday and you couldn't work on your goals, you can simply move that to your free time on the next day, because you know you've scheduled some free time somewhere in your week. So something has changed, you can easily move that item to another day. And time blocking is something I love to do. Time blocking is simply actually creating a block of time, maybe 2 to 6 hours, focused on one task. So for me, for example, in my business, if I want to work on my marketing and content creation, I will spend a full day on just that. So I will create content and schedule things for maybe a few days or for a week, so that I don't have to do it every day, so that I don't have to repeatedly do this one task every single day. I block everything in a big block of time to do them all at once. And in my personal life, I like batch cooking. So on a Sunday afternoon, evening, I will make a few meals, not everything for the week, but maybe 3 meals, so that during the week I don't have to think about, oh, what do I need to cook tonight? Or what am I making for dinner? It's already made. So I batch cook a few things, and then that helps me not be like flustered or worried, or like I have more time to work on my business. I have more time to work on other things because I've already done it in advance. Creating routines, morning and nighttime routines are really great. They help you stay organized, create good habits, and exercise routines. Really having that scheduled in your diary, whether that's every day, maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, just having that routine. A good thing about routines is it helps you to build that discipline muscle, because discipline doesn't happen overnight. Discipline is a muscle like muscles in our body. So you have to actually strengthen that muscle. You have to build that muscle by doing it over and over and over again. So having routines that you do over and over again, that helps you to build that discipline. And what I find that is, when you have discipline in the small things like a morning routine or an exercise routine, you will be more disciplined to do the harder things. So when you're facing challenges in your life, when you're facing challenges while working towards achieving your goals, and you really don't want to do something, you want to procrastinate, you want to make excuses, but you will have that discipline to say, right, no matter what's going on, I can spend a few minutes, a few hours, even 1 hour in a week to just stay disciplined and to keep working on the goal I want to achieve. and to get things done. So in summary, these are 5 points that I've covered this evening. Be clear on your why. Really know what's important to you, what your values are, and why you're doing this, why you have chosen to actually pursue this goal. Number 2, break down your goals step by step, having those milestones to be able to celebrate, to be able to track, to be able to see what is going well and what you need help with. Number 3, prioritize. Prioritize what's important to you, who's important to you in your life, your health, and really being able to schedule that in your time, in your calendar. Number 4, manage your time by planning and scheduling. Definitely, if you don't have a diary or a calendar after tonight, you have to get one. Whether you're having a paper diary or a digital one, just try it out for a week. Try out just having a schedule and planning a few things ahead of time. And number 5, finally, is to trust in God and to praise Him in everything. And along the journey, just being able to praise God through all the ups and downs. And there is something else that, we're working towards. And just being able to trust the process as you are going is important. So that's the summary and comes to the end of my presentation. So if you have any questions, we can start taking some questions now. Thank you.
Thanks, Natalie, for that presentation. It was really, 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 really helpful. Praise God. I was just one question with the vision board, I think it was, because I got really inspired. How do you go about making them, and how do you or like where can I find resources into getting an inspiration for making a vision board?
Okay, well, the simplest thing is to just Google it. Just Google vision boards. And it's up to you if you want to have a physical one where you actually just get some magazines and cut out pictures of things that are a representative of your goals. It doesn't have to be the exact image. And, just cut them out from magazines. Just usual magazines that I get from the shops. Sometimes I have holiday magazines or specific industry magazines, maybe whether you're looking at the business magazines or engineering or any career path that you're thinking of, those magazines and resources, having the actual physical magazine from the shops, and then cutting the pictures out, and then simply just having them on a big A4 and buying a cork board from any stationery shop and just sticking them on. I find that it's quite fun doing the physical one. So just that process of like picking lots of different things, cutting them out and sticking them on a big paper and then putting up on your wall. And the digital one is good if you're really on the go kind of person. And the two resources, there's PicMonkey, that's like, it's just Google it online, it's PicMonkey. And what you can do is you can go on Google and type in something on Google Images, say Paris, if you want to go to Paris, and get an image, and then you put it onto a digital board. So when you're on PicMonkey, you can then save all these pictures, and then you save the image as a PDF or as a picture, JPEG, and then you have that on your phone, and you can have it as a screensaver or on your desktop as a background. That's a good one while you're working. And so those are the two ways I would go about. I have both. I find that the digital one is easier to change. Let's say you don't want to go to Paris anymore, maybe you want to go to, I don't know, Iceland or somewhere else. And so you can just change that, or you've already been to Paris now, then you're putting a new destination. So that's one thing that's good about the digital one. It's easy to change. And on Pinterest as well, you can create a private board if you're on Pinterest. So you can then put all the pictures and images of things that you want in your life, and you can make it private. So it's only for you to see, and you can share with whoever you want to see it.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Chantel, do you want to ask me a question?
Hi, Natalie, Claire. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can.
First of all, wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
It's the little things you kind of forget. So
Mhm.
thanks for the reminder. I have quite several questions. First of them is you said that you were in another career pathway. I think you mentioned engineering, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And you've changed, or you're working on your business as a life coach. What advice would you give to someone that is aspiring to be a life coach?
Well, to definitely work on yourself, on your own mindset. That's one thing that you need when you're thinking of going into business and becoming an entrepreneur. Your mindset is everything. Compared to the conventional career path in terms of getting into employment and a job, entrepreneurship is a lot about you. You are the one who has to make things happen. You're the one who has to go out there. You're the one who has to represent yourself over and over. I make this example all the time when I'm speaking, is that when you're going for a new job, you go for an interview and you get a job. So you only have an interview once. But as an entrepreneur, you kind of have an interview every day because you're putting yourself out there, you're putting your business out there. So really having a strong mindset and having mentors around you is important. Having mentors, having a coach yourself, and having the right resources. So really figure out what you need, what type of coach you want to be, what type of business you want to have, because one thing that's difficult from when you first become a coach is then actually creating the business. And those are two different skills to have. Becoming a coach is one skill, and then becoming a business owner is another skill. And you need both to actually have a coaching business. So it's wonderful that you are at a point where you can coach people, and that's great. But then you also need to the point where you can build a business, because if you want this to become your career and have an income from it, you have to learn business skills. So those are my top tips and advice.
I have another question.
Yes, go ahead.
So you've obviously, I know you did detail that you've been in this, or building your business for 2 years.
Yes.
From your 2 years experience, what have you learned and what would you do better?
What would I learn? I would get a business coach earlier.
Where do you get one of those from? Sorry.
Well, just research around you. In some life coaches also are business coaches. They do both. So mainly a life coach will help you on your personal goals, and then a business coach will help you actually work on your business as the main goal. So in all coaching, you work on the personal side because, like I said, mindset is important. So you always need to work on your mindset to keep you going. And being able to have a business coach, it helps you to really have a structure to how you're going to build your business there. And there are many different business types. So it's up to you to find out what business types they are, what business type you want to have, and which one you're going to select to help you grow your business. So,
can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Sorry. And one final question.
Okay.
Another thing you mentioned in your presentation about your support networks, like mentors and role models and stuff like that. In your life, obviously as a life coach, you know, it was the main role for you to be influencing others. But who in your personal life would you say has influenced you, to the person you are now, and why? So, both as like an engineer and as like a life coach. So, yeah,
Yeah.
and why?
Okay, yeah. From my engineering background, a mentor I had at uni, she was the most inspirational woman I ever met. And that was because if you know engineering industry, there are very few females in engineering, and she was one of the first few female engineers when she was at uni and in her city, in her town, in her country. And being able to have her as a mentor was really amazing. It really helped me to build that inner self-confidence that someone has done it before and I can do it as well. Another person that's really inspiration to me is my mother. She's an amazing woman. She's always supported me in everything I want to be and always told me to dream bigger, to aim higher. And one important lesson she's told me is to choose your friends. Now, when I was young, I never really understood that because I thought if you're popular and everyone wanted to be your friend, that's amazing. That's great. But actually, if you choose your friends and you are actually intentional and selective about who you want to be your friend and who you're going to have in your life, then that makes all the difference in who you will become. Because as you know, the 5 people around you, it makes you who you are. You're the average of the 5 people around you. So if you're having people around you who are also aspiring to do bigger and better things in your life, and you can see them achieving things, you can see them also struggling, and you're actually supporting each other and working together, then it helps you get to where you want to be. And it's important to choose your friends and really be intentional about that. And in coaching, my very first coach was really inspirational woman to me because she's the one who helped me realize that this is something I'd love to do. Because I remember after working with her, because I always had a dream of having a business, but I didn't know it would be coaching. So after working with her and really being able to get to a point where I can fully express myself and know for myself what success means to me in my life, after working with her, I remember our final session, I was in tears and she's like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" And I was like, "I would love to do what you do. I'd love to change people's lives and help them be empowered, help them to feel that they can achieve the goals they want to achieve." And that was the moment I was like, wow, this is what I would love to do. I'd love to help other women get to where they want to be and achieve their goals by being clear on what they want, being confident in who they are, and having the courage to take action on those goals. Yeah.
Sorry, I was writing that at the same time. Thank you.
You're most welcome. I'll just read a message that I've got in the chat. So you mentioned that you are now, where you are now is a process. How do you go about transitioning from a career which pays the bills to embarking on your new chosen God-inspired career? So first one is to have faith and really trusting in God and trusting that you don't have to know all the steps. Sometimes you only have to know the very next step. And being able to plan if you can. If you're already in one career, creating a plan before you go to the next one will help you in terms of knowing what to do next. Instead of just completely switching career paths, it's really important to create a plan. If you need help in terms of planning that, really get the resources that you need. Research, speak to people, speak to experts. If you're on LinkedIn, really connect with the people who you'll want to be in in the same industry as them, really start following people on social media and reach out to people you admire, who you're inspired by. Reach out to them and ask them questions. You'll be surprised at how helpful people can be. One thing I learned in the difficult times in my life is the kindness of strangers. I found that a lot of people are kind, and when you are genuinely asking and you want to do something and you know someone who has done it before and are successful, then ask them questions, ask them for the time, and if you can afford to, then get an expert advice, get a business coach, get a life coach, get a mentor in the industry that you want to be in to help you have that clarity, to help you take action, to help you create a plan, and to help you be accountable. The very most important thing I do as a coach is to help my clients be accountable to actually do what they say they will do. And sometimes that accountability, it needs to be ongoing, because you can be inspired here today and then a week from now you'll be back to where you were and being like procrastinating, making excuses. But if you have someone who's in your corner, actually checking up on you, actually asking you the right questions, actually really finding out what is stopping you from taking the next step and helping you work through that. That's what I do as a coach, helping you work through those challenges. Then it helps you to move past those challenges, help you move past fear, help you move past overwhelm, and get you to the next step. That's my advice. Okay. Is there any more questions? Well, thank you very much for joining me this evening. I really enjoyed this, and it's been a pleasure to present to you and to answer your questions. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Oh yes, I'll just share my screen once more so that you can have my details. I am on all social media as Hi Natalie Claire. And if you'd like to email me, my email is coachnc@outlook.com. So feel free to message me by email or online. And yeah, follow me. If you're on social, definitely follow and just send me a DM. I am on Instagram every day. I love Instagram. I love Instagram stories. I love sharing what I'm doing on a daily basis and just sharing my message with everyone out there. And so I hope this has been helpful and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.